Good morning. Today is Tuesday, June the 25th, and we are back for another Tuesday tip. For those of you who are new here, welcome. My name is Pia Miller. I'm an attorney in Virginia, own my own law firm, and every Tuesday I come in and talk about a little something random. And that little something random for today, want to talk about the Supreme Court, the United States Supreme Court's decision in the Rahimi case. Pia, why are we talking about a Supreme Court case? Why are we doing this? So this is actually pretty important. And those of us in the criminal defense community have really, and on both sides, just criminal law community, we have really been following this decision and the track that this has been going. Here's why. So this is a case out of Texas where a protective order was issued, a civil protective order was issued, and it was related to a domestic violence situation. Federal law prohibits those who have domestic violence convictions or pending charges from having a firearm. Pia, where have we talked about this before? We've also talked about this when we talk about cannabis use and any illicit drug use, any illegal drug use. When you are filling out that ATF form in order to purchase your firearm and checking certain boxes, yes or no, and having firearm restrictions imposed because of that. Again, these are federal regulations, federal laws that prohibit you from having a firearm. So in the Rahimi case, civil protective order was issued, no criminal charges, and as a result of the protective order being issued, that person's firearm rights were taken away, or their firearms were taken away. And so fast forward, and we get to the Supreme Court, and Mr. Rahimi is arguing, hey, listen, this is a violation of my Second Amendment constitutional rights. I should be able to still have a firearm. I wasn't charged with any crimes. This was a civil protective order, civil, no criminal things, right? So it's interesting for us in the criminal law community because, again, this issue comes up a lot of times when we talk about restrictions that are federal and domestic violence charges and things like that. And so what the Supreme Court said in an 8-1 decision, that it is completely fine, okay? And I'm saying completely fine, meaning it is completely fine for that person's Second Amendment constitutional right to temporarily be put to the side if a civil protective order has been issued. So let me just read some of the exact language because I wrote this down because I wanted to make sure I say it to you all the right way. So essentially, when a person has been found by a court to pose a credible threat to another's physical safety, that person may be temporarily disarmed consistent with the Second Amendment. That's the Supreme Court's holding in United States versus Rahimi. Pia, why is this important? I tell my clients this all the time. Even when I was prosecuting and we reviewed the petitions for expungement, a lot of times domestic violence, it's a misdemeanor here in Virginia. Your first charge, it's a misdemeanor. A lot of people think, oh, it's a misdemeanor, I'm good. I was, I did my 2 years. Perhaps you have the suspended imposition of sentence and you got your 2 years and it's done, You want to come back, you want to get your charge expunged. I love that for you. But you may or may not be eligible for expungement. But if you have a case that is pending, and if you just have a civil protective order and the criminal charges never actually go through, or say they weren't taken out, or whatever may have happened, you still cannot have a firearm. Not saying I agree with it, not saying any of that. We're not getting into the politics of it. I'm just telling you, I want you to do the right thing, which is you have to surrender your firearms if you find yourself in this position. If you have a civil protective order, if you have a pending criminal domestic violence charge, you are legally not allowed to have firearms. Same things with illicit drug use. We just saw that in another nationally covered trial. I don't know if anybody was following the Hunter Biden matter, but that was his issue. So keep these things in mind. As always, if you have questions, talk to an attorney. Don't hesitate to reach out. Take care of yourselves. Come back in a few days. Also want to remind you guys, normally we would be talking about the book club at this time, but because of the Rahimi decision, I wanted to make sure that you guys got that information. So I'm going to post the book club video in a couple of days. As a reminder, we are talking about Madness by Antonia Hilton. Great read, relatively quick read. Go ahead and grab that book, skim it over really quick because we're going to have a quick discussion in a few days. All right, guys, take care.